Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the WD Broadcasting Network. Tonight, we are back with the Trackmaster Sim Series for race number 3 of their season. We've had an exciting first 2 races of the season. Brandon Elvis picked up the win in week number 1. Jake Sylvia was your winner last week, and we'll see how things shake out tonight. 171 laps. The longest race so far this season. The drivers do have an extra set of tires, and there will be a break at the halfway point for these drivers to take their tires. It will be a controlled caution environment, so at that time, all of the drivers will maintain their positions. We'll let you know more about that when the time comes. Right now, practice finishing up here. Everybody making their final adjustments to the qualifying setups. Brandon Atkinson in the 15. Making his final adjustments last week. Did not have the best run. Didn't finish the race. Ended up P17. We'll hope for a better run for BA Brandon Atkinson here tonight. And it is now time to qualify here at the Southern National Motorsports Park. Week number 1 fast time was Aiden Millette and Jason Perret in his 18 machine. Was fast time last week. We'll see who goes top of the board this week. Chris Shepard in the 19, one of the first out on the track. Shepard this season second in the points right now. 2 starts. He's got a top 5 finish and 2 top 10 finishes, so very consistent start to the season for Shepard. We'll see what he can do here on lap number 1. We'll get the times up on the left side of your screen. And Chris Shepard goes to the top of the board. He'll take the top spot. Chris Smith in the 80 machine goes fast time of 13.957. 4 1,000ths quicker than Chris Shepard. Kyle Terzak in the 15 out of turn number 4. He'll go to the top spot. A 13.881. One of the faster laps we have seen this evening. Chase Hale in the 9. Only a couple cars left to qualify. 21 have taken time. The top 20 will go straight to the race, and then I believe there will be a short last chance qualifier, but I think everybody will make it. You're just going to have to proceed through the last chance races. Chase Hale jumps up to 7th quick on lap number 2. A 14.02. Michael Weissman in the 74 machine, 14th quick on his second lap. There are 3 drivers that have not taken time just yet, but I don't think they're going to be joining us here this evening. Let's look at some of the info on the track here tonight. A cooler evening. 73 degrees in the air, 73 degrees on track, so a little bit different than what we saw last week. The sun was shining, and it was definitely a hot and slick racetrack. Different conditions tonight. We'll see how that affects these cars. We'll see who can adjust the best. As Mike Fudge on the front straightaway, going to be the driver that's going to do our, I believe, 8-lap heat race. Or it may be 15. We'll see when they get the green. Scott Austin also joins the grid right there in the number 5 machine. They will go for 10 laps. Ten laps going to be the distance. Both of these drivers going to transfer into tonight's main event. 171 laps the distance. They get the 1 to go signal. It'll be a fun race between these two, but really it is a final practice session to get those final adjustments made on your race setup. You're going to be comfortable for this 171 lap race, because once you're in the car, the green is flown, that's it. No more tweaking on the race car. You got what you've got. As Scott Austin takes the early lead, and he will pull away down the back straightaway. Like I said, both of these drivers going to transfer into tonight's A feature. But they do have to complete the 10-lap last chance race. Unfortunately, with the way that iRacing's heat race format works, if you schedule a last chance race and there's just enough cars to not transfer in on qualifying, it will make you run that last chance race. You can't skip through it. So Scott Austin turning some laps right now. Let's look at the schedule coming into tonight for the Trackmaster Sim Series. After tonight, we'll be halfway through the season. We are going to take a week off next Thursday. We'll be back February 5th for race number 4. 150 laps, no extra tires. That's going to be a fun race. They're going to have to go a long way without getting a fresh set of tires. They're going to have to make the cars last that whole time. 100-lapper in race number 5 to kind of calm things down before that final race, which will be the longest race of the season. 200 laps with an extra set of tires in the pits, February 19th. So that's all on Thursday nights. You can catch all the action right here on the WD Broadcasting Network. If you guys haven't already, hit that red subscribe button for more iRacing content and to never miss one of our live streams. Right now we're streaming 4 times a week. Wrapping up this week with the Trackmaster Sim Series here on Thursday night. One of my favorite divisions to cover. It's a very unique series. You don't often see these leagues go to the same track week in, week out. But it really replicates a summer at the track. You go each week, everybody has something different. Sometimes this guy's good, sometimes that guy's good. Really creates a fun environment for these guys. Scott Austin takes a checkered flag. We are just about ready to go. They will have a warm-up session really quick before we send them green. And during this warm-up session, they do the duck race for the invert. Let's see what the invert's going to look like this week. We'll wait for the race admins to get everything set up. Shout out to Christian Peterson for putting on the Trackmaster Sim Series. It's been a fun go-round, and Season 4 has started pretty fun, I would say. Southern National is honestly one of my favorite tracks to watch the late model stocks at, so that does add to the excitement for sure. As we're still trying to get the invert sorted out. There's about a minute and a half left in the warm-up session. And then it will be time for the 171 lap feature. And here we go. We can now look at the duck race. Here we go. Looks like one is out front first. I think last week it was a 9. Let's see what tonight brings. Oh, the 10's going straight to the front. We're going to have a big invert here tonight. And it will be a 10. So we'll look at the qualifying order here in a moment and see how it sorts out. But the invert for tonight going to be a 10. Warm-up finishing up here. Paul Kashiba in the 72 machine, quick time. Landon Farmer second. Chris Smith third. Chris Shepard fifth. Chase Hale in the 4th spot in the 9 machine. Chris Shepard in the 2nd spot in the points here tonight. He's going to have a good opportunity. Jake Sylvia starts 2 spots behind him. The gap is only 8 points, so we'll keep an eye on those two as the night rolls on. So the invert's going to be a 10. Your pole sitter, Kyle Terzak, I believe, is electing to take what we call an EOL, which sends it to the rear. Let's look at our starting grid here. Remember, the invert was a 10, so that's going to put Adam Fulford Jr. in the number 171 on the pole here tonight for tonight's 171 lap race. That could be the lucky charm. We'll see what happens for Adam. Richard Parks in the 113 machine. Going to roll off to his outside. Brandon Atkinson going to roll off from the 3rd spot here tonight in the 15. It is outside. It's going to be Jace Hale in the number 9 car. Landon Farmer in the 026. Currently in the 4th spot in the point standings. Going to roll off from the 5th spot here tonight. It is outside, starting from the 6th position. Going to be Jake Sylvia, last week's winner in the 118. Paul Kashiba in the 72, going to roll off from the 7th spot here tonight. And then starting 8th, it's going to be Chris Shepard in the 19. Starting 9th, it's going to be Chris Smith in the 80 machine here tonight. I believe this is his first start of the season. So good qualifying effort from Chris in week number 1 for him. And scheduled to start 10th. I believe he's dropping to the rear, though. That's Kyle Terzak, your fast qualifier here tonight in the 015. 7/100ths of a second quicker than Smith. Definitely a bit here in the late model stocks. Then we go back to John Lyday in row number 6. He's on the inside next to Colt Martin in the number 4 machine. Then the rest of the field will be normal on back. We'll look a little bit further back. Zach Murphy going to roll off from the 13th spot in the 29. His outside, it's going to be Michael Weissman in the 74. Owen Wilson in the 20 machine going to roll off from the 15th spot. And then Chase Swank in the 55 was going to start 16th to his outside. Caleb Thompson in the 04 going to start 17th. And he'll have Hudson Geiger in the 36 to his outside. Frank Barbary in the 26th going to start 19th. Rounding out your top 20 starters, it's Thomas Dean in the 071. And then your final two starters, we saw him in the last chance qualifier a little bit earlier on. That's Scott Austin and Mike Fudge. Carter Hollingsworth, Dustin Smith not going to make it for the feature here tonight. As your front few cars pull aside, and we're going to re-rack and restack this field. We saw the invert was a 10. And I don't think Adam Fulford Jr. made it to the grid. I'm not sure what happened. Let me check voice chat here and see if I couldn't find him anywhere. I don't think I see him. But we'll keep an eye on the 171 of Adam Fulford, who is scheduled to start on the front row. That will move Brandon Atkinson to the pole in the number 15 machine. I know that makes one individual very happy down in the chat below. Field gonna get got the one to go signal there, I should say. It's time to go racing. For 171 laps, Brandon Atkinson, Richard Parks, gonna bring us to the green. Next time by. One to go right here. Race control had to give it one more look. Make sure the lineup is all ready to go. Kyle Turzak in the 015 did end up taking that EOL, so he will start from the, it's like 20th spot, or 19th spot on the bottom, underneath Mike Fudge in the number 8 machine right there. So up front, Brandon Atkinson and Richard Parks going to bring us to the green, and we are underway in race number 3 of the Trackmaster Sim Series season. Atkinson takes the early lead down the back straightaway. Meanwhile, Landon Farmer jumps to the inside of Richard Parks. Parks and Farmer battle for a second. Atkinson takes the early lead on lap number 1. Look at the lineup on the left side. We've got trouble out of turn number 2 early on. A couple of cars back behind. That's Chase Swank, Michael Weissman, Thomas Dean as well. There is Adam Fulford in the 71 machine, or 171. I think he may have missed the grid. Made it back out right as that caution flag came out. So he's not going to lose a lap. He is just going to lose that front row starting position. Let's watch back to what happened. I think it was Chase Swank in the 55 that initially got tagged. And yeah, I think that is Hudson Geiger in the 36 it is. But Swank, contact in the middle of 1 and 2. We'll try to get a better look at that. Yeah, I think the 55 as Swank was trying to come down the racetrack, and Geiger was just right there on the bottom. But a caution flag early on. We are 4 laps in. Brandon Atkinson, your race leader after the first restart. And the light's going to go out on the iRacing.com pace car. We're going to send him back racing this time by. Landon Farmer got the jump on Richard Parks. He was able to take the second spot away. So he'll jump up to the outside. Richard Parks, Paul Kashiba, row 2. Pace car drops to the inside one more time. The green flag flies. We're back underway. 7 laps in out of 171 here at Southern National. Down the backstretch they go. Oh, Chris Shepard around in the 19 in a big one down the back straightaway. And wow, everybody piled into that one. I think Kyle Terzak may have went up and over a couple cars there. And nearly the entire field behind Shepard was collected in that one. We'll go back and watch that one more time. Actually, probably a couple more times. Try to get the best angle of this possible. I saw the 19 as Shepard go around, but I didn't see what initially caused it. I just lost the back end and then hooked Hale, and that blocked the entire racetrack. And you see Terzak in the 15 got scooped up. And yeah, a lot of race cars torn up in that. Go on board with Kyle Terzak. And man, you can see he was in the brakes. He had it missed and then pile driven from behind. Tough break for the 15 machine. I want to watch who that was back behind him. I didn't quite see. And man, oh, Zach Murphy just barely tumbled over there at the end. I mean, barely. He had to reset the car. So a huge one happens. And Kyle Terzak on pit road in the 15 machine, taking tires here early on. He's going to take 4. I think he's probably going to try to reset that race car the best that he can. But the white flag out. Lights off on the pace car. I think they're going to send him green right here. Field ready to go back racing. Green flag is back out. 13 laps in. And Brandon Atkinson leads them back down into 1 and 2. He'll clear Richard Parks down the back straightaway. Meanwhile, here comes Landon Farmer trying to take that second spot back. Farmer and Parks side by side. Here comes Paul Kashiba to the inside in the 72. Big Sylvia back behind him in the 118. That's last week's winner. Calmly riding in the 5th spot right now. Just waiting for the right moment as Kashiba gets around Richard Parks. Going to open up the door for Sylvia if he can get there in time. Meanwhile, back behind him, Adam Fulford in the 171 machine. He's on a mission back to the front. He missed the grid and was able to avoid most of that chaos on the back straightaway, I believe. And he's back up inside of the top 5. Driving with a full head of steam right here. Keep an eye on that 171 machine. Back behind him, John Lyday, Caleb Thompson get around Jake Sylvia in the 118. It looks like Sylvia might be having a little bit of struggles with his race car at this current moment. This doesn't look like he's up to speed with some of those guys. Still very early here. 171 laps in this race. A lot of time for these guys to make up ground. If they've lost it, even to make up laps. Kyle Terzak in the 15 machine, back out on the racetrack, but a couple laps down. And I believe he actually is only 1 lap down. But Atkinson, and the other 15, trying to track him down to put him 2 down. Brandon Atkinson leads by about 0.7 of a second over Landon Farmer, Paul Kashiba. Adam Fulford runs in the 5th spot. And then John Lyday, Caleb Thompson back behind. Chris Smith back up into the top 10. He was involved in that incident. He was one of the first cars to get turned up on the outside lane. Looks like he doesn't have too much damage from that one, though. A little bit on the left rear and maybe the right front. As things begin to settle down, we've got 13 cars on the lead lap in this one. We are 26 laps into the race. I know a lot of the drivers were just spending time getting damage repaired, but at this moment, a slim field, and Brandon Atkinson shows the way. Brandon Atkinson has 1 victory in the Trackmaster Sim Series. Has not visited Victory Lane in the late model stock here in the Trackmaster Sim Series in quite some time. Back behind him for a second, Paul Kashiba to the inside of Landon Farmer. Farmer trying to fight back on the outside lane. Kashiba down low in turn number 3. It's hard to get the run off the bottom and drive up off without overusing your tires, because you don't want to heat up the tires, especially not early in this race. But Kashiba doing a nice job keeping that car pointed. Little contact off the exit right there. Farmer is able to pull back ahead. And as they battle side by side right here, watch how much Brandon Atkinson is able to extend that gap up to 1.3 seconds down the back straightaway. Remember, a couple laps ago, we were talking about how it was at the 0.8 of a second margin, so really opens up that gap when these two start to battle for position. Especially now as Landon Farmer in the 26 machine starting to struggle a little bit with that race car. The 72 of Paul Kashiba down to the bottom. Pulls ahead down the back straightaway. We'll see if he can clear him up off of 4. And no, not quite yet. Look at the run that Farmer gets on the outside. Looks like Kashiba is able to get to the inside for a couple laps, but after that, just does not have the drive up off that he needs. Meanwhile, Richard Parks looks to the outside of Paul Kashiba. Outside lane looks a little bit better right now. That 113 machine figuring something out, as he's going to look to the outside of Landon Farmer. Parks looking to the outside of Farmer, and he's going to get to his outside right there. New battle for second. Your leader, Brandon Atkinson's lead up to 1.6 seconds. As now Paul Kashiba goes around on the outside too. Adam Fulford right there in tow as well. Up front, your race leader, Brandon Atkinson, is Jace Hale right in front of him, trying to keep from going another lap down. But he does have to concede to the top side right there. Hale now going to be 3 laps down early on in this one. Battle for 4th. Adam Fulford tried the inside underneath Landon Farmer. Was not able to get the run up off, but Farmer got loose off of 4 that time. Thought Adam Fulford was going to be able to get the run, but not quite. Right now, looking at this field, the last time around, what lap times they went. Atkinson, one of the faster cars on the racetrack. I actually think the fastest car on the racetrack. But it is very close still. 14 8s and 9s all throughout your top 15. Richard Parks trying to track down your race leader, Brandon Atkinson. He's cut into the gap a little bit. It's not 1.6 anymore, but it is still 1.5. And back up to 1.6. So Atkinson maintaining his position. The longest green flag run of the race so far. And now here comes Paul Kashiba to the inside of Richard Parks. Kashiba once again trying to take that position away. Parks going to defend on the top side, and at 113 has found something up on the outside lane that Kashiba just cannot match on the bottom. .53 laps up on the board. Jake Sylvia around Hudson Geiger in the 36. Ooh, contact with Chris Shepard as he tried to come back down to the bottom. Shepard's going to move by and back up into the top 10. .55 of Chase Swank. I think he is 1 lap down. But not for position right there. Here comes another lunge to the inside from Paul Kashiba. Trying to take that spot away from Richard Parks, but has not been able to. How about another driver back behind, Caleb Thompson in the 04 machine. He's driving to the front here, trying to take that 3rd spot away, or 4th spot away rather. John Lyday right there in the 22 machine. Waiting for one of these two to go forward. Adam Fulford right there as well, who had to get on the brakes right there into 1. And Caleb Thompson going to take that spot away. Move the 04 up to the 4th spot. Back behind him, John Lyday right there in the 22. Saw that run to the outside lane. And if you can just get your left front quarter to the guy's outside, or right rear outside quarter panel, You can often get them to give you a line off the corner. And that's what John Lyday did right there. Got that position. And he'll move up, try to take the final spot in the top 5. Up front, Richard Parks in the 113. Still holding on to that second spot, trying to track down Brandon Atkinson. But Atkinson has Kyle Terzak right in front of him, trying to prevent himself from going another lap down. As with Terzak right in front of him, Atkinson almost loses that gap right there. You can see the gap shrink down to 0.7 of a second up off the corner. He doesn't want to be overly aggressive right here, but he is losing a lot of time right on the 15's back bumper. And surely they're going to be right there as Terzak gets tagged. I believe that was Mike Fudge in the 0-2 right there, trying to stay up out of the way. There was almost a big one right there in front of your leaders. Atkinson comes back to lap 69 on the board. And Terzak is trying to hang on for the halfway break. See if he can't get the lucky dog. But Atkinson going to have to look inside one of these times. Richard Parks in the 113 is right there on his back bumper. Now I think Atkinson may be starting to struggle with that race car a little bit, as he's been behind Terzak for so long. Richard Parks a little bit loose back behind him. He'll lose some ground. Meanwhile, Chris Shepard and Jake Sylvia side by side. That is for the 9th spot on the racetrack. Quite a ways back behind your leaders. Remember, Shepard was the first car to go around in that big one down the back straightaway. Trying to work his way back forward. I think he's going to take the spot from Jake Sylvia here, but maybe not. Sylvia back strong on the outside lane. Meanwhile, up front, Brandon Atkinson still all over the back bumper of the 15 of Kyle Terzak. Terzak trying to stay from going a second lap down. The 15 of Atkinson all over the back bumper right there. At some point, going to run out of patience, especially as he's got Richard Parks to his back bumper. Try looking to the inside right there. Zach Murphy in the 29. Richard Parks kind of caught the 29 at a bad spot, which gained Atkinson a little bit of time. But it's definitely going to hurt Atkinson in the long run to be right there behind the 15 of Terzak. You also want to try to put him 2 laps down because you want to make it more difficult for him later in the race. So it's a tough game for Atkinson to play right here. Let's see what he can do. He's got a bunch of lap cars right up in front of him. They're going to have to start picking him off here. The first one up in front of Terzak is Jace Hale in the 9. And then they're 2 by 2 up in front of him. And now it's going to be bad for Atkinson because they're going to really check up on his nose now. Big pace difference from what they were running to what some of these cars deeper in the pack are running. as Richard Parks closes that gap. Hudson Geiger's there on the outside lane. And Atkinson's going to put him a lap down. We're just shy of the halfway break. And here comes Richard Parks to the outside lane, trying to take the lead here. On lap 85, Richard Parks to the outside lane, trying to take the top spot from Brandon Atkinson. Atkinson tried to hold the position there, but not going to be able to do it. Richard Parks, new leader on lap number 86. And the field going to come to a slow. That is the caution flag for the halfway break. And your field going to have the opportunity to come to pit road here and get tires on those race cars. Richard Parks going to bring the field to pit road. Do believe everybody has to come down pit road here. Let's see if they take 2 or 4. That is going to be the big question. Looks like your front 2 are going to take 4. Adam Fulford going to take 4 as well. They know they've got just under 100 laps to go. As there is your field on pit road. I believe everybody has a moment to take a breather. Maybe go grab a drink. But an exciting first half to the race. And a couple of cautions thrown in there. Big one on the back straightaway. But we're going to reset things here and send them back racing with just under 100 laps to go. Everybody getting tires, getting damage repaired. Leave the field going to reassemble down the back straightaway. In your top 3, Richard Parks, Brandon Atkinson, Paul Kashiba. And a stop on the back straightaway. I believe they'll do 1 pace lap, then go back green flag racing. Caleb Thompson up to the 4th spot in that 04 machine. He started 17th on the grid in this race. Drove it up to 4th in the beginning. He's done a good job. He drove up almost to the top 3 in that green flag run there. He did not start that green flag run up at the front. So he's been driving that 04 machine through the field. And at the halfway break, let me know what position your driver is in the chat below. If you're watching one of these drivers, if you cheer them on, let me know where they are. Let me know who they are. I know a lot of these drivers do go back and watch the streams and like to see who was watching, who was supporting them. We are just about ready to go. I think they're giving some of the drivers on pit road a couple more moments to get some damage fixed up. I hear the engines revving. Must be getting ready to roll here soon. Race control just gotta get the lineup all figured out. And then we'll be ready to go back racing. We've got 12 cars on the lead lap. Richard Parks drove up and passed Brandon Atkinson right before, probably 2 laps before that happened, or that caution came out. So we'll get ready to send him back racing here. Just shy of the halfway point. Or just past the halfway point, rather. And they'll get the 1 to go signal here. 1 lap to get some heat in the tires and get the field up to speed. And we're right back to racing. Or maybe another lap, rather. I don't think we're going to go green this lap. We'll get the white flag this time by Richard Parks. Brandon Atkinson going to lead us back with 90 laps to go. Or 80 laps to go, rather. Math was a little bit off there. It's been a long day. But let's see what happens back through the restart zone. Richard Parks, Brandon Atkinson, back green. 80 laps to go. Parks takes the early advantage down the back straightaway, and caution flag back out quickly here. There was something further back. Scott Austin and Mike Fudge turned around on the exit of turn number 2. I didn't catch what happened there. I just saw it on the left side of the screen. Watch what happened right there. I believe the 8 machine was up in front of Austin in the 5, and yeah, contact to the left rear, and around goes Mike Fudge in that 8 machine. I think both of them continue on, just a short little spin there in 1, or in 2 rather, but the caution flag back out for the 4th time. You count the halfway break. We got some green flag laps in there after that big wreck down the back straightaway. A couple cars lost quite a few laps out of that one, though. There are a lot of drivers still fighting to get back on the lead lap. We are just shy of the lap 100 mark. Richard Parks leads the field to the white flag. The lights drop on the iRacing.com pace car, and we'll try to send them back green this time by. Parks got a good jump that last time. Was able to clear Brandon Atkinson down the back straightaway. We'll see if he can replicate that here. As the pace car is off one more time. Through the restart zone they go, and another good start from Richard Parks. But Brandon Atkinson going to be right there on the top. And he'll try to stay out there down the back straightaway. Here comes Brandon Atkinson trying to take that top spot back. Here comes Paul Kashiba to the inside, and there's contact for the lead. Richard Parks saves it down the back straightaway, and they are wrecking behind him into turn number 1. Jake Sylvia around. Jace Hale, Zach Murphy. Mike Fudge comes to a stop as well. But man, things got spicy up front. Brandon Atkinson going to take the lead after all of that. But Jake Sylvia goes around down into 1. Let's see how it happened. You can see what happened right there in front of him, and I think he just was trying to check up. But someone in front of him, I think that was Chris Smith, was trying to check up and just did not get checked up in time. 118 got hit from behind and spun. And then after that, a couple cars just didn't have anywhere to go. Try to go on board with the 118. You can see the 80 machine checked up there. Saw something happening up in front of him. And as soon as that happened, on the binders, not enough time for the cars behind him to get fully slowed down. Things happen quick here at Southern National, and a lot of times you just don't have enough time to fully react and avoid contact. So 4th caution flag for incident here tonight. The field getting ready to send them back green. The lights out on the iRacing.com pace car, and Brandon Atkinson going to roll off alongside Caleb Thompson this time around. And we're going to extend the caution flag. Not quite ready to send them back green. Race control not happy with the lineup just yet. Wanted to sort a couple things out. And now we are ready to roll. Back racing with 70 laps to go. Just past the lap 100 mark. Brandon Atkinson, Caleb Thompson, your front 2. Pace car back off. Into the restart zone they go, and we're back underway. Atkinson got a good restart in the 15. He's going to pull ahead of Caleb Thompson in the 04. The 04 with a big run up on the outside lane. Trying to hold that spot back. Couple cars banging doors on the front straightaway. But everybody keeps it clean so far. As Paul Kashiba battles with Caleb Thompson for the 2nd spot. Kashiba going to take that spot, it looks like, on the bottom lane. Thompson going to try to stay to his outside, but Kashiba going to clear up off of 1 and 2. Brandon Atkinson going to try to get back where he was earlier on in this race. He had a 1-second advantage before he caught Kyle Terzak. We'll see if he can hold that lead. Meanwhile, here comes Chris Smith to the inside of John Lyday. Smith up into the top 5. He'll set his sights on Landon Farmer now in the 026, who runs up in front of him. Meanwhile, back behind, Jake Sylvia underneath Adam Fulford. Fulford in the 71 machine. Going to have to give that spot up there as Sylvia wanting to move forward here with limited time left in this one. 61 laps to go. And they come back across this time. Sylvia in the 118 to the inside of John Lyday. That's for the 6th spot on the racetrack. You can see as you pass more cars and put more heat in your tires, how much more difficult it gets to pass on the bottom lane. 118 just doesn't quite have enough drive up off the bottom yet to really make that pass stick as there's contact down the backstretch. Oh, more contact there. Jake Sylvia in the 18 machine trying to get past John Lyday here, but having some trouble. Meanwhile, up in front of him, Chris Smith gets around Landon Farmer. Move Farmer back to the 5th position. Brandon Atkinson continues to show the way. Jake Sylvia back to the inside. Trying to take that spot away from John Lyday, just has not been able to get the drive up off the bottom. Back behind him, Chase Swank looking to the inside of Chris Shepard in the 19 machine. That's for the 9th spot on the racetrack. Shepard trying to get around Fulford for 8th. Now Swank going to have to decide which lane he wants to go with here, as it looks like Shepard is going to make that pass work on the outside lane. They Swank to the bottom of Adam Fulford. Moving up the racetrack a little bit, they're trying to make it as wide as possible. Fulford holding his ground in the 71. Here comes Fulford one more time. Looking back underneath Chase Swank. And Fulford not going to be able to make the move right there. Meanwhile, we look back up front. Brandon Atkinson in the 15. His lead almost 1 second over Paul Kashiba and Caleb Thompson. Atkinson continues to show the way, the lead 0.7 of a second. Looking at the lap times, they're kind of back and forth. One lap Atkinson's quicker, 1 lap Kashiba is quicker. But they're very consistent, the both of them. The fastest car on the racetrack that last time around was actually Chris Shepard in the 19 machine running in the 8th spot. So as of this moment, a lot of pace from a lot of different cars throughout the field. But we've got 40 laps to go. Time is beginning to run out here if you are outside of the top 5. As Chris Smith gets to the inside of Caleb Thompson. Smith trying to take away the 3rd spot. I believe he is going to do so. He'll now set his sights on trying to track down Paul Kashiba for 2nd. Landon Farmer in the 026 underneath John Lyday. Lyday trying to take that outside lane and use it for his advantage. We've seen it work a lot tonight. And I think the 22 machine is going to use his momentum up on the top and get by down the back straightaway. That will open up the door for Jake Sylvia in the 118. Sylvia down low, Farmer up top, and the 118 will take that spot away. Landon Farmer was running in the 4th spot back to the 7th position. Just shy of 35 laps to go. Just under 35 laps to go, rather. Laps going very quickly here. Your front 2 have broken away from Chris Smith, who runs 3rd. Back behind, Scott Austin underneath Adam Fulford. Fulford in the 71, not having that good of a run here tonight. Currently in the 11th spot, could be trying to save that race car, but has not shown the speed that we normally see from him. Scott Austin gets around. As for the final spot in the top 10. This time by for Brandon Atkinson. 30 laps to go. You see it pop up on the left side of your screen. He's in the final stretch here. We've been green for quite some time. Battle still going on for the 3rd spot. Caleb Thompson looking to the outside of Chris Smith. Smith hanging on to that spot. You can see Caleb Thompson shoot up to the outside lane and try to get the run up off. Chris Smith's doing such a good job of keeping that outside lane closed off on the exit. Letting him drive up there in the corners, but getting a good drive off. What you've got to do to keep the spot in these cars. The gap up front with your top 2 is now just over half a second. The laps running out for Paul Kashiba. It's 25. 24 this time by. Caleb Thompson, John Lyday, both in that 2nd lane, trying to get around Chris Smith here. But Smith doing a good job defending. Little wall tap from each of those drivers down the backstretch. Look at the line of cars back behind Caleb Thompson there. Now Jake Sylvia going to look 3 wide, and there's contact, and Caleb Thompson in the 04 machine is going to come to a stop. That's going to bring us back under yellow. The 5th caution for incident here tonight. We all saw it unfold. They went 3 wide into 1, and I don't think the 04 machine quite expected 3 wide. Got the tap in the left rear, and around he went. See what happened here to Caleb Thompson. See the contact there. Tries to save it, and he does. Then just going down into 1, I think the 22 machine may have gotten pushed up a little bit into the left rear. And around goes Caleb Thompson. He was on board with Chris Shepard. Tough break for the 04 machine. He was having a good run up inside of the top 5. Was thinking about taking 3rd back at one point. But that will be scrapped here. He'll be back to the 11th spot. We are going to be inside of 20 laps to go here when we send him back green flag racing. So not a lot of time left for some of these drivers. And the lights are off in the iRacing.com pace car. Brandon Atkinson gonna have to ace this one here as the lights come back on. Not quite ready to go. Race control gives the okay. We're going to have limited laps remaining for these drivers. We'll see what they can do to try to track down Brandon Atkinson. As the pace car is back off, we go back racing through the restart zone. And Brandon Atkinson going to lead Paul Kashiba and the rest of the field down into the restart zone. Kashiba in the 72 gets a good jump on the outside lane. Brandon Atkinson in the 15 going to try to hold steady on the inside, but here comes Kashiba up top. Through 1 and 2 that time. Down the back straightaway, Kashiba pulls ahead. But Atkinson still has some drive on the bottom. That time, Paul Kashiba leads the lap at the line, and he's going to pull ahead down the back straightaway. A little contact. Brandon Atkinson in the 15 machine trying to take that spot back. 13 laps to go. Jake Sylvia, last week's winner in the 118. He's right there in the 3rd spot as well, waiting for the right moment to try to pounce. We have 11 laps to go. Paul Kashiba is your race leader at the line that time. Brandon Atkinson trying everything he can to get back to the inside. A little contact off of the corner. And Kashiba doing everything he can to try to hold off Atkinson. Atkinson racing him aggressively back on the inside lane. But just trying to take that spot back. So we've got 9 laps to go. And Paul Kashiba going to take that spot now. But he'll have Jake Sylvia right in his rearview mirror trying to take the lead right back. 8 to go at the line right here. It's a 3-car battle for the lead. Here comes Sylvia to the bottom. Jake Sylvia to the inside of Paul Kashiba. Kashiba giving him room on the top side, trying to get that car to drive up off the corner. And there's a little contact. Brandon Atkinson to the inside of Jake Sylvia. He'll take the 2nd spot, or try to take the 2nd spot back, as they come back to 6 laps to go. 6 to go for Paul Kashiba, trying to pick up the victory here. It'll be 5 to go this time. Jake Sylvia going to take the second spot back. They're 3 wide behind him for third. And what can Jake Sylvia do here? With 5 laps to go, he's closing the gap. But does he have enough time? 4 to go. They've got separation back behind them. They are in a hornet's nest for the third spot on back. And the caution flag is going to fly. We are not done just yet. Caleb Thompson in the 0-4 machine. Went for a slide. Let's see what happened. Oh, and I think John Lyde in the 22 got into the back of him there. And sent him for a spin. And around goes Caleb for the second caution in a row. 0-4 machine got the boot. And went for a spin. We'll watch it on board with John Lyde here. He just got in too hot there. And sent Thompson for a slide. And Paul Kashiba going to be the leader on this restart. He'll have Brandon Atkinson right behind him. Atkinson's going to be aggressive to try to take that top spot back. He has led a good chunk of this race. I know he doesn't want to give this win up here. Chris Smith going to start from that money spot in fourth. And actually, Kashiba going to take the outside lane, so Chris Smith going to take the fourth spot. He'll start right behind your leader. Watch out for that 80 machine here in these final couple laps. As Kashiba leads them into the restart zone on the top lane. And we bring them back to a green-white checkered finish. 2 laps to go here at Southern National. Paul Kashiba trying to take the top spot. Jake Sylvia in the 118. Moves him up the racetrack. There was contact down the back straightaway. White flag is out. Final time. Chris Smith gets tagged off of the back straightaway. They're going to wreck back behind him. And down into turns 3 and 4. Who's it going to be? Paul Kashiba and Jake Sylvia going to drag race to the line. A photo finish. Oh my goodness. What a finish at the line. My timing and scoring is showing Paul Kashiba was the winner at the stripe. And look at the difference on the left side of the screen. 0.00. Paul Kashiba picks up the victory. What a finish at the line right there. Sylvia tried everything he could and did it as cleanly as he could through turns 3 and 4, and it just was not enough. Kashiba kept the run on the outside lane and will pick up the victory. We're going to have to watch that last lap back one more time before we grab a word from these drivers, because that was intense. You saw, here is the white flag. You saw the 15 of Atkinson and Smith make contact right there, and then they wreck back behind, and then watch down through turns 3 and 4. Watch how close this is at the line. Man, Jake Sylvia had it every step of the way, right up until the finish. There's that wreck there, and then I want to try to watch it from one of our inside view cameras here. man, you see how close it is at the line. A drag race between Paul Kashiba and Jake Sylvia. Fireworks here at the Southern National Motorsports Park. We'll get the results up on the left side of our screen, then grab a word from our winners, our winner and top 3 here tonight. All right, we'll talk to Landon Farmer, who was our 3rd place finisher after all of that. Let's see where he went. There we go. Landon Farmer up in the broadcast booth here tonight. 3rd place finisher at the Southern National Motorsports Park. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, well, P3 here this evening. It was an eventful race there at the end. A couple long green flag runs, really got a chance to get some laps on the tires, and then, man, nothing but excitement on that last green-white checkered. There was chaos right there in front of you. I think Chris Smith and Brandon Atkinson got together, and you were able to sneak by and come up 3rd at the end of this one. How do you feel?
I feel great. Honestly, I don't feel like I deserve it. You know, the first run, I burnt my tires up, fell back a lot, but ended up front at the end.
Yeah, it's always good to end up front at the end, even if you feel like you made a couple mistakes that may have knocked your chances. It's always good to get a podium and be able to be up in the booth post-race. So congratulations to you. I think that's your first podium of the season. So who do you have to thank for P3 here this evening?
Redline Studios, 988 Suicide Hotline, and Exotic PC. That's all I got for you.
Alrighty, well, next week we have a 150 lapper. What do you think your chances are going in there with 3rd place?
I do a lot better in the shorter races. I'm not great at saving tires, so I feel pretty good about it.
Alrighty, well, congratulations to you, Landon, on your 3rd place run here tonight, and we hope to talk to you later on throughout the season.
All right, appreciate it.
Yep. All right, now we'll talk to our 2nd place finisher. Man, that was so close right there. Try and grab Jake Sylvia. He was our 2nd place finisher. Up in the broadcast booth, Jake Sylvia, 2nd place finisher here tonight. Man, that was one of the closest finishes I've called on my stream. Definitely the closest in a long time. Tell me how you feel after a run like that.
I'm pretty sure Race Control gave me the W. So going off of that, I'm pretty happy. I would say from getting dumped at like the midway point, that first wreck after the halfway break, that kind of threw the wrench into my plans. Just wanted to save tires. I know I didn't have a setup for 175 or 171, whatever it ended up being. So it's just kind of more try to save my lefts. I knew I wasn't going to take left side tires at the break, and I'm glad I did because I ended off with like 30% on the left rear. But it was pretty solid. I didn't think we were going to get anywhere. And then Lide decided he wanted to go, be my fan again and use the bumper and then take a guy out and give me 2 free spots, and that set me up 4th. And I guess that from there it was just run the top.
Yeah, the top was very dominant here tonight, especially as we got later into green flag runs. It just looked really hard to pass on the inside lane. But like you said, I actually looking at it now, my timing and scoring, my results say that you won. My timing and scoring say that Paul won. So I don't know what exactly happened. We'll trust your word that Race Control gave you the victory. But how does it feel to win 2 weeks in a row Trackmaster Sim Series?
Pretty good. I came back to this. I haven't ran this series full time yet, and it's the only series that we have at MRL that I haven't. So going into it, I'd seen the track, and I was like, hey, we'll try to make a run at it. And so far, so good. I'm pretty sure that's a 1, a 1, and a 3. So I'm happy with it. Yeah,
definitely 3 good races to start out the season. Well, before I let you go, who do you have to thank, Jake, for 2 victories in a row here in the Trackmaster Sim Series?
I got to thank you guys, everybody that comes out, puts us on, especially Christian. Christian does a really good job doing this deal. And once again, I mean, last week I was thanking him for you cheering me on in the stands, and this week I'm thanking him for taking a guy out. So John Light, I appreciate it. Got me 2 free spots in the row I needed.
Alrighty, well, next week we have a 150 lapper, no set of tires in the pits. How are you feeling on your chances of going 3 in a row?
That won't happen. I don't think I have anything for these guys. Atkinson was absolutely out of this world fast in the long run. I just kind of, to be honest, I just got lucky with positioning. I can't qualify in these races either, so I'm pretty much just burying myself every week. So we'll see. I'll try to be up here and talking to you at least, but I don't think we're getting 3 in a row. It'll be tough.
Alrighty, well, good run to you here tonight. Hopefully we can talk to you next week, but one more time, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, now to talk to our second place finisher here tonight. Did not know how it was going to go, which direction it was going to go, but second place here tonight, Paul Kashiba. What a race at the line. It was very close, just about got Jake.
Yeah, man, that was really fun. I mean, that was a good battle. I'm super pumped that we were able to get some long green flag runs in there, and it was fantastic racing with Atkinson again, and haven't hopped on in a while, and just a really cool deal that CP and Dan put together, and I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, it was definitely fun watching you race with Jake there at the end, and like you said, you and Atkinson got to race as well. And we got to see some green flag laps, which is a very big change, or a very good change from the first 2 weeks. We got to see the field get spread out and see the lane move around a little bit. What were your thoughts tonight? Was the inside lane or the outside lane better when battling somebody?
Yeah, I mean, definitely in the beginning, it was bottom feed all the way, and then the right front started to give out a little bit, and trying to pass on the bottom was really, really tough. I learned that the hard way and lost a ton of time, and then figured the top was going to be the move. But yeah, definitely the top at the end, which is kind of why I picked the top. It felt like tires were worn in much more and would have a lot better run off. But regardless, that was a really, really fun race, and it was cool to come down to 0.000.
Yeah, I think it was definitely the closest race I have, or the closest finish I've called in a long time, maybe ever on the channel. I have to go back and check, but it was awesome to see you have such a good run there. You said it's your first time back in a while, so it's always good to come back to an exciting race because I think it fuels you to want to come back again. So hopefully we can see you back. But before I let you go, Paul, who do you have to thank for P2 here in the Trackmaster Sim Series?
Yes, thank you, sir. So first off, got to thank CP, Dan, everyone else behind the scenes who put the lead together, get it streaming and everything. Appreciate you guys for doing the stream. Number 1 setup shop, Brandon Atkinson's Speed Shop. He hooked it up tonight. And yeah, I really appreciate the invite and had a good time.
Alrighty, well, good shout out to Brandon Atkinson. He was on a rail earlier on this evening. The long run setup he had, I think he took him to Gappleby's there for a little bit before the caution flag came out. But good run to you one more time, and hopefully we can see you back later on in the season.
Appreciate that. And yeah, I feel terrible for what happened for Atkinson at the end. We were all having a great race, hoping for 1-2, but I'm sure we'll go get him next week.
Yeah, we'll hear about it from Atkinson. It's a tough break, but he'll live, and we'll go on to the next race. Tough break for him, but congrats to you for P2 here tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Alrighty, that was your second place finisher, Paul Kashiba. I thought he was the winner. You guys all saw that it said he was the winner on my screen. I have it on the left side or the right side of my screen too, that it does say that he's the winner, so I'm not crazy. On my main screen that you guys can see, it says that Jake Sylvia is the winner, though. So we'll go with that. Jake Sylvia is the winner here this evening by 0.000, one of the closest finishes I have ever called up in the booth, and what a thriller it was. Right up at the line. I thought Sylvia was going to have it the whole way, but Sheba had a big run out of 4 and made it exciting. Landon Farmer comes home in the 3rd spot. Chris Smith comes home 4th. Kyle Terzak 5th. Adam Fulford Jr. in the 171 comes home 6th. Richard Park 7th. Chase Swank comes home in the 8th spot. Thomas Dean comes home 9th. Hudson Geiger rounds out the top 10. Caleb Thompson, the 0-4, tough break for him, comes home in the 11th spot. Scott Austin 12th. Chris Shepard 13th. Jace Hale 14th. Mike Fudge 15th. Brandon Atkinson comes home in the 16th spot. Don't know if there was a scoring error there that happened or if he may have lost a couple laps at the end. Not sure what happened. But Atkinson 16th. John Lyday comes home 17th. Zach Murphy 18th. Colt Martin 19th. Michael Weissman 20th. Then rounding out your field, back behind him, it's Owen Wilson and Frank Barbary. And that is going to do it for us here tonight, folks. Thank you guys for watching the Trackmaster Sim Series. Week number 3, we'll put the schedule up one more time so you guys can see what we've got coming up. We have a week off next week. We don't race January 27th, but February 5th, we will come back with race number 4, 150 laps, no tires in the pits. That's going to be an exciting one that you won't want to miss, so we'll see you guys back then. We'll see you guys Sunday night for the Only Short Tracks League return. It's going to be a fun one at Concord. And then leave the pack on Tuesday. So thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, hit that red subscribe button. I am your host, Winston Deal, signing it off from the WD Broadcasting Network. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out.